Alright, so we had an update in the rare breed case. Lawrence Domenico actually did an update video on his Instagram.
We've had a major development in our case today.
I'll play some clips in here, but we're going to go over the points real quick and just talk about exactly what's going on with rare breed, where are we sitting, and are the triggers legal yet? So first things first, they had filed in North Dakota. The judge had dismissed that case because they didn't have venue there.
Our case against the DOJ and the ATF in federal court in the District of North Dakota was dismissed today. All right, so it was dismissed for venue issues, and it was dismissed without prejudice. All right.
That's a whole nother can of worms. You can get the information somewhere else on exactly what is going on with that. The point is, they're done in North Dakota.
As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I'm very unhappy that I have not been able to share updates with you guys on the socials. Next week, I plan to meet with all of our attorneys. We're going to sit down, and one of the topics of conversation will be, I'm going to look for some common ground. I want to be able to give you guys updates on a regular basis. I want to share details with you, but we're going to have to come to an agreement on how to get that done.
He first addressed the fact that he hasn't been doing a whole bunch of update videos, and that's because the lawyers are telling him not to talk. And yes, any lawyer worth his weight in salt, that is the first thing he's going to say, because one, he wants absolute control over every aspect of the case. And two, should you accidentally slip up and say something incriminating, that's damaging to the case. And so lawyers just by default will be like, keep your mouth shut, don't talk.
Rest assured, that is kind of at the top of my list. And why? So you're asking me why? Why do I want to do this? Well, I think everyone can agree, and I think it's safe to say that when I'm disappearing from the socials and I haven't posted any updates, a lot of people think that I've just thrown in the towel, I've tucked my tail and run, and nothing could be further from the truth. I'm a fighter, and like I said, I'm going to see this thing through to the end, and I think the more often I'm able to share updates, people will have some reassurance that I'm not taken off.
Now, he wants to do update videos, and I totally understand that, because with him doing update videos, it doesn't matter if they win or lose the rare breed case, because one, they win, and now the triggers are legal again. They beat the ATF, and it was on full public display for everyone to see, and it gives them hope. Or they lose, and now they've just entered themselves into martyr status, and it gives people hope. Like, hey, you should fight. It's very important for people in these particular types of cases to talk. I mean, take the Navy guy, for example. Nobody even knew about his case, so he went to attack this thing with a public defender, and he ultimately got railroaded in court. If he would have contacted a bunch of creators, made it highly public, they would have got a huge defense fund for him, and no matter what would have happened, it would have been better than the outcome that he got. He got absolute worst case scenario. He's in prison. If you're curious what I'm talking about, this is the video right here. He's in prison. From what I understand, they seized his assets before the case. There's no way he could have possibly got a worse outcome by going highly public. If he would have went highly public, he would have had a defense fund. He would have had support behind him. There's no real disadvantage if you have the platform, unless, of course, you accidentally say something incriminating, to be highly public. It's actually incredibly important for the cause to be highly public. So I totally side with him on that. He needs to work it out with his lawyers, figure out how he can be public more often, and be public, because it's a service to the community.
There is another issue that I want to ask for some help on. The circumstances have changed significantly since our first suit and even since our second suit, but the ATF is now contacting people, harassing people, stealing your property, etc., so on and so forth. And if you fall into that category, if the ATF has made contact with you, if they're harassing you, if they've stolen your property, aka seized it, I'd like you to contact us. I would like you to email us at customerservice@rarebreedtriggers.com. In the subject line, I would like you to put ATF overreach. And in the body of the email, please explain the specific details of your situation. We may be able to use that information moving forward. So please help us with that. Thank you very much.
So the next thing he said Contact him if you've had an encounter with the ATF. Why is that important? Well, before we go on to that, you need to understand a couple of different things here. Number one, I'm not a lawyer. Number two, I'm sure as shit not a legal expert. Number three, if you take legal advice from me, you're stealing. So, he may have some other reasons why he wants you to contact him if you've had an encounter with the ATF, but my non-lawyer brain says so they can get a venue in different states and pick what state they want to actually really fight this battle in. For example, this item right here, we're going to pretend it is our favorite force reset trigger. So the ATF comes and takes this from you. The only way the government can constitutionally take something from you is if you get due process or you're compensated. You haven't got due process because it hasn't even went through court to determine whether or not that even qualifies as a machine gun, and as we all know, it doesn't. So there's no due process there, and they sure as shit didn't pay you for it. That's unconstitutional, which gives them the ability to start a case like having you're the plaintiff, and they're just backing you up with a legal defense and all the information you need. So all you have to really do is sign on a piece of paper that you're a plaintiff. Or a bunch of people could be signed on this in each state, like these are all the plaintiffs of this state. Judge, please hear this case. And that would be compelling to the judge. And hopefully, because we all know what happened in Florida last time, which is where they're going to file at again, they basically got railroaded. They weren't allowed to cross-examine the ATF on whether their statement was true or if they just made it up, which they did because it doesn't fit the definition of a machine gun and it can't fit the definition of a machine gun. They just made it up. They really, really did. So anyway, getting that out of Florida, because they already know the result, what's going to happen in Florida, or the likely result, it would be beneficial to, I don't know, maybe start this case up in, say, Texas. So if you're from Texas and you've had, an encounter with the ATF about the RTB, you should probably get a hold of them, because you could honestly be the linchpin to this case. Who knows? Right? So, definitely get a hold of them if you've had contact with the ATF about the rear breed trigger. Next one, they are refiling in Florida. Obviously, he says that in his video.
So the case was dismissed without prejudice. Now, what does that mean? It means that we can refile. Now, in the dismissal from the judge, she specifically cited that the DOJ had argued that proper venue would be in D.C. or back to Florida. So, since the case was dismissed without prejudice, we will be refiling in the Middle District of Florida, probably by close of business next Friday.
So you guys have probably been wondering, where have I been? It's been like a week since I've uploaded a video. Honestly, you're going to see some time gaps in between my uploads. I have some stuff going on in the back end. I need to tie up some loose ends. I don't know how long this is going to take it to happen, but I need to tie up these loose ends, and then I'll explain everything to you, but that's not for today's video. Today's video is about the rear breed trigger, but be patient. My uploads are going to go way down for a little bit here. Again, I'll explain everything later. Anyway, so that's the basics of what is going on with the rear breed trigger. If you'd like to help support the channel, got my Patreon right there. I also got affiliate links in the description down below. Just by clicking on those particular links, even if you don't purchase what that particular link is for, just clicking on it, doing the Amazon shopping you were already going to do anyway. I had a little kickback for it because you came there off my channel. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.